Hey mathematicians, let's do your first homework of 6th grade. Okay, so the way these videos are going to work is I'm going to do a few parts of different problems for you to help you get started on some, to remind you of things that I'm expecting, and I'll scroll through so that if you lose your homework anytime and you need to just watch the video and then pause, you'll be able to copy down the question onto a blank piece of paper. All right, so our first set of problems is a chart, and we are looking at sentences, and we're going to write the integer that we read in them. So remember, integers can be positive or negative, and for the sake of this homework, if you think it's a positive, I want to see a plus sign. So for example, the first sentence says a gain of 56 points in a game. If you gain points, is that good or is that bad? So gain is going to be our key word, and I want to see it underlined. And then the integer would be positive because gain is a good thing, and 56 because that's how many points it was. In part B, a fee charged of $2. If you get charged a fee, are you excited or are you kind of bummed because you have to pay money? A fee is when you have to pay money, so that's our key word, and that would be an integer of -2. Now, when we're writing integers, you don't need to include any symbols like dollar symbols or units like points. We're just looking for the plus or minus and the actual numbers. So I'm not going to do them all because you're doing your homework, but these are examples of what I expect to see for the rest of the chart. When you define the term negative numbers, I expect to see a complete sentence. So a sentence starter might be something like negative numbers are, and then you write the rest of the sentence and you give 3 examples. The examples don't need to be in a sentence of their own. You can finish that definition and then be like, -2, and then you come up with some other examples. Same thing for when you're defining the term integer. Integer means, or integers are, you need a complete sentence. Anytime I ask you to write something, I'm expecting a complete sentence. So are all integers negative? Why or why not? Your sentence should start with either all integers are negative or no, not all integers are negative, and then you need to tell me why. You can provide examples in word format, like you can make it 2 sentences. For example, this integer, blah, 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 blah. Or you can make me like a little chart and tell me these are like positive integers, negative integers. Just from the fact that I'm making this chart, you should kind of know what your answer is, if they're all negative or not. But then you could give me examples below, like -2, we already talked about. And list out a few examples, and that you still need a complete sentence for the yes or no, why or why not, but that can be your examples. On the back of your homework, because there will always be a back, so don't just finish the front and be like, yay, I'm done. On the back, we are looking at number lines, and you need to tell me what each of these dots are worth. So the dots are in different spots on different number lines. If you want to, if it makes you feel better, to go through and label like this number, this number, this number, this number, this number, you can. But what I'm really looking for is, what is that red dot number? And I'm looking for some evidence that you actually figured it out yourself. If you just magically write down the number and there's no work near your problem, then I'm not going to really trust that you actually did that work for yourself. So, since we haven't done a whole lot of these, let me walk you through what I expect to see. You know that this number is 25. You know that this number is 37. So what I would do for starters is subtract. How many numbers, not how many little lines, but how many actual numbers are there between 37 and 25? That's a subtraction problem. 37 minus 25. That gives me 12 numbers. Now I do not have 12 number lines, tick, 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 intervals they're called. I don't have those. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Be careful that you are actually counting the space in between and not just how many lines there are. So if you take 12 and you split it equally up into 4 groups, what's 12 divided by 4? Oh, it's 3. That means that each of these jumps is a +3. So 25 plus 3, that's 25, 26, 27, 28. I would I'm not as picky about you doing these ones, but I would double check your work by making sure that your pattern continues and you do hit 37. So 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Oh yeah, we did get 37. Okay, so that's right. If your work does not look quite as messy as mine and you're looking to box a single answer, that is the answer we are boxing, and the rest of it is considered scratch work. So looking at number 6, you would want to subtract 17 minus 11. You would want to find that difference and split it equally into 2 groups. So you're probably going to have to figure out what this number is before you can say, oh, every number I'm adding this many more to go to the right, because eventually you're going to have to find this number. And then in case you lost your homework on the very first day, here's the very last one. And once you finish number 7, you are done with your very first homework assignment. Yay! Don't forget to bring it back to class tomorrow, because if you did all this hard work and you leave it at home, unfortunately that's still West Wing because you didn't bring it back. So put it in your backpack when you're done.